If you like talking,
Women.
Ladies,
men,
topic,
Conversations.
and occasional uninformed politics,
multiple talking women is for you.
Hit it!
Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of Multiple Talking Women. I'm just one of your hosts, Felicity Bramblebush. Sitting next to me in a very revealing dress is
Lana Brown going braless today because of the chain straps. Welcome.
I'm the producer. My name is Paula Gherkin. Why do you have to be braless? Because of chain strap? Aren't there strapless bras?
If I was making money doing this, maybe I'd buy one.
You can't afford a strapless bra right now.
Nope.
You don't have one just from life, like you never had to buy one before?
You know what? I am enjoying this, and I think everybody else is.
I don't think so.
Let's
I think
just
people
roll
don't
with
want
it.
that much. All right.
Well, let's
introduce our guest. I'm going to let you do that, Lana.
Sitting across the room from me is the most vital, emollient,
Very emollient.
I mean, glowing young lady. I almost can't believe it's like a ray of sunshine. ROSA BLASI.
Welcome.
Thank you. I've never been called emollient before.
You
you
are. You've got a glow, but it's not oily. But it's a glow.
It's smooth.
Yeah. The skin game with this one is going to be hard for me to focus on other things because I don't understand it.
I feel like we can't even start until we can address what the regimen.
Yeah, what are you doing?
But part of it I think is genetics too.
It is genetics. I was on Accutane at 35.
Oh, wow.
I wash my face with water and a washcloth in the morning and beauty counter at night. However, I get Botox every 4 months and about once a year. I enjoy a filler.
Yeah,
I enjoy a filler. I was due in July for the yearly filler.
But listen, you're talking.
Wait, so
and
you
your
were?
I was
face
due.
is moving.
I know I'm due for that too.
No, but in a good
way.
Thank you.
Oh,
I mean,
great.
yeah, I'm not Nicole Kidman from the late '90s. I can move my face, but yeah, I mean, I've had my upper eyelids done. I've had under my chin done. Like to pretend that I'm au naturel would be a giant lie.
Wow,
But whatever we need the name of all you people because all of it you can't. I wouldn't know.
I would never know.
No, it's crazy. I mean, I won't list all the A-list actresses who get similar and don't look like this, but you're going to someone better than they are.
No,
So anyway, bravo to
less
you
is
for
more.
this.
Less is more.
But what kind? You got to use some kind of creams and lotions. What do you do? Or serums?
In the morning, I use there's an oil, Nelly something that I got in a gifting thing,
See,
and then I
gifting, that's
changed
what we
it to
want.
marine something. Oh, I like the oil in the morning.
Okay.
And then at night it's green. It's like something. It's only at Whole Foods. It's probably $15, and I wish I knew the name, but it's green.
Oh,
yes,
Wella.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I use at night.
You guys hearing it here first.
These are not $1,000 creams.
No.
These
No.
are basic
No.
creams.
We can all have these.
We can all go to Whole Foods and get it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
And
I love that
a
price
very
point.
good makeup artist turned me on to that. I wouldn't have known.
Well, and this is key though. Is because tell us about sitting in that makeup chair.
Well,
because
because you're naturally good at makeup unless you're a moron because you are taking in tips from everybody.
Right.
Wow.
So you just kind of are like, oh, what's that? Okay, I'm going to go buy that.
Yes.
Because it's interesting and I will move on from the outside, but it doesn't necessarily look like you're wearing a ton of makeup to me right now. So
Yes,
your skin is really good.
I enjoy a makeup. I
Okay.
am not,
Oh, God.
Do you
An
know
honest
enough to,
woman.
like, if you sit down and you see the makeup artist start to take something out, you go, not that. I know that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm the only person in America that can't wear a spice lip liner. It turns blue on me. Like dumb stuff.
You just
dumb
know
stuff.
some
I
things.
don't wear red anything on my lips or I look like I
know
don't-
yourself.
English isn't my first language. No
right.
offense, no
or
offense,
you look
Lana.
like you're in a video from. That's okay. I have so many languages, but you look like you're in that Robert Plant. You know, the
100%.
80s, early 90s was the bright red.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But some people
Yeah.
can still rock it, and good for them.
The
Sure, but
red?
I can't eat. I don't rock it.
You don't rock the red?
No, I look like I'm.
Everybody ages with red,
Yes.
except like
It's too much.
Gwyneth Paltrow in Great Expectations.
Yes.
If she was in that.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
so, yeah.
Oh.
Sure.
I love that spice liner though.
It's
What does it do?
It's just a classic color.
Oh,
Well, not on beautiful Rosa.
not a,
Okay.
it's blue
No.
crayon.
Makes her
So
crazy.
blue crayons.
All right.
So I mean, your career has spanned so many different genres I think too. But let's start at we like to start at the beginning.
We love the beginning. Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Mount Prospect, Illinois, a northwest suburb of Chicago. It literally says on our sign, where friendliness is a way of life. And now it says the home of Lee DeWise from American Idol.
Wow. Wait, I won't even know who that person is.
That's so confusing.
It's so confusing. But it's a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah.
It's like where John Hughes filmed all the movies, but not as rich. Not as rich. I thought you were rich if you had an upstairs or white carpet.
But is it maybe like Pretty in Pink where she lived like on the other side of the tracks?
Maybe. It was just more like, it's all ranch houses. They're all
Okay.
1950s ranch houses, 1,300 square feet, everybody.
Yeah.
The same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your parents do? Just out of curiosity.
My dad was a teacher
Oh.
at college, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Oh.
Back when there was moms that stayed at home.
Yeah.
As
Who
it
weren't
should
rich.
be.
You got.
I didn't
nurturing.
have parents, so I don't know what that was like. But
Her parents hid it after she was 4.
They left.
They left.
They left me on my own.
She was a handful.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So you grew up there, and when's your first time noticing? Oh yeah, I might want to do
Yeah.
something on stage or somewhere.
Easy. I had a babysitter that let me watch The Love Boat, and I saw the
loved
Dallas
that.
Cowboy cheerleaders, and I was like, they are glamorous and beautiful, and the teeth and the tan and the nails, and I want that. And I was too young to know you could just be an actress, but I was like, I'm gonna be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Oh my God, it's like you wanted to be like a little John Benet Ramsey.
1,000,000%, and ended up doing pageants.
Oh, great.
Pageant survivor here. But yeah, I did, and then eventually I figured out you could just be on TV. And so from the time I was little, I was like, I'm just going to California. It's this magical place. And once I land, they'll discover me and I'll have my own show in probably 6 weeks.
That is so interesting that
didn't
it was
happen.
so
Didn't
clear.
happen.
It was very, very clear. Very
From
clear.
what
Your
age
path.
would you say that would be?
8.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't have even known like that California was a state yet.
I did, because at the end of all those shows, it was like filmed in front of Burbank Studios.
that's
and
true.
Hollywood,
That's
whatever,
right.
whatever.
And you were like, that's where I need to go.
I was like, exactly. I just got to get there.
Wait, wait, can we talk a little bit about the pageant days? Because you have to have a parent that's going to help you get to all that stuff and do. So
Yes,
your mom was
well,
on board.
Well, first of all, the pageants happened at 18.
I see.
And so I wasn't like
You weren't like a
Toddlers and
child.
Tiara,
Yeah.
although
Right.
that was a good documentary.
Yeah.
No, but they did drive me to all those auditions and every weekend voice lessons. And they took me to Piven Performance Company, which was improv for teens, and then eventually Second City in Chicago. So they, like,
They supported
kudos to
it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Big
were
time.
my taxi.
And were you like, oh, this is like just a step I need to take in order to get to Burbank Studios?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know if there is
But wait.
Burbank Studios, but I love that you're going with that. Yes.
I think there
Yeah.
is.
Your poster for the Thundermans
Yes.
last month was up huge
Yes.
at Burbank Studios.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Burbank
Or Warner,
Studios.
or Warner
Okay.
Brothers. No.
No, it
Burbank
was
don't-
Burbank Studios.
Which is where?
Well, I'll tell you exactly where.
Okay.
It's before the Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A is on the left-hand side. If you're driving on Olive
Okay.
and going to St. Joseph's Hospital, there's a
Okay.
big one there.
I do know where it is now. Now that you say it.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's you.
That's huge.
That's incredible.
Did you recently watch the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Were you
Like,
ever
there-
a cheerleader?
I was on Palms in high school.
Okay.
There,
What's
oh God, you want to hear something?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 1983, I was on something called the MPMFA, which
Wow.
stood for, and I apologize, I'm about to say an offensive word, but this was printed on our program.
Okay.
And it was printed on our uniforms. MPMFA stands for the Mount Prospect Midget Football Association.
Huh.
Yeah, that was
Oh.
We had
thing.
a midget
And I was a
football league.
cheerleader.
We had a midget, and I was
But
a
it
midget
hadn't-
cheerleader.
But it had nothing to do with it. That's just what they called inappropriately
Were
in
they little
1983.
people?
Instead of
No,
just
they
saying
were
just
children's
children.
football.
It's like the junior
Oh.
league. but they called
Children's
it midget league.
cheerleader.
Okay.
Youth
And
soccer.
Then it was
Okay.
Pop Warner. It was,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried it for a
Wow.
year. I got kicked out.
Yeah,
Listen,
so
Yeah,
I
you were-
found that like a year ago, and I was like, "Oh
Oh,
my god!"
That's problematic. When you were in pageants, what was your talent? Did you do pomps?
singing.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah.
you're a soprano. You're
A
a
mezzo soprano. Yeah, a
Mezzo
belt
soprano.
voice.
Were you classically trained?
I was. I think you either naturally sing or you don't. I don't know how you teach it.
Mhm.
So the tonally was good or whatever. But then once I did Chicago's Annie when I was 12, and then after that I did voice lessons every.
Annie's my
Every-
favorite.
because you can refine it. You have to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but then you got to refine
Yeah.
it.
I'm sorry. Who were you in Annie?
I was Annie.
I'm so starstruck.
Do you want to talk
yeah.
about your audition? She has an audition song.
Well, I auditioned for Cats
Oh,
with.
that's
That's
right.
how
with
we
Lana
met. Yeah.
Gear.
That's right.
I sang Dumb Dog, which I've learned is not in the musical. It's in
No,
the, it's
just
in,
the
It's
movie.
just in the movie. Anyways.
but what is mezzo soprano?
I think it's just it's not soprano, which is like
Very
I could have
upper
Does
end.
danced. I
mezzo
could have
mean
danced all
middle?
night.
Middle.
Okay.
It's like an
Middle.
alto, but
Okay.
also a little higher,
Okay.
Because your
But where
speaking
you can
voice
belt.
is very
very
sultry.
low, very
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, right. But then you go up here.
Yeah, but the belt is like Anita and West Side Story.
Oh, got it.
Oh.
Have you lost some of that soprano over the years? I've
Yeah.
heard like with age you can lower your voice lowers naturally.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, like I will try to sing stuff, and it's very challenging. And in order to sing again, like in public, you have to warm it up,
lot of
like
warm
practice. It is definitely a little bit different, but it's like riding a bike, but it's
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
And I haven't needed it at
No.
all since I've been in LA.
You know,
Right.
you know who struggles with their voice?
Hmm.
John Bon Jovi.
Really?
Huge fan of
Well,
John Bon Jovi.
I know
don't
you are.
draw a similarity between me and John.
Oh, let's talk about you and John Bon Jovi. He,
Star
um,
quality, maybe?
Well, I just
Yeah.
watched that documentary.
X Factor.
Speaking of documentaries, and he doesn't want to tour anymore because if he can't do it the way he used to do it. And I say, yeah, fans are gonna like it even if it's a little off.
That's
but,
right.
You know.
I think that's true.
Anyways,
So when did the transition from when did you actually come to California?
21,
And what
21 years old. I
So
didn't
you're
Wow.
a singer and you're a performer, but you don't think Broadway. You're still thinking Burbank.
because I wanted TV,
TV.
and film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was like you go to LA
Mm-hmm.
for that and you
Yeah.
go to New York for the other thing. And I had done 43 musicals in Chicago, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need
Oh,
to do
you were
any more
done.
musicals.
You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
good.
I
that
see.
was it.
There was something really magical because we're the same age about those shows of that era. And because like Fantasy Island and Gilligan, I mean, it was you really
Glam.
were taken into another world. And then seeing where it was filmed, but it was I don't know, there was something magic about it.
Especially if you don't grow up in LA.
Mhm.
Like everything about California was magical to me. I
Yeah.
would like smell mail from California. I remember like accosting someone who was an extra on the set of Lucas. A friend saw, you know,
I love
a friend
Lucas.
saw Ebert or Siskel, and I was like, "What was it like?" Like we didn't see famous people
Right.
in
Yeah. It was a
Chicago
big deal.
ever.
Yeah.
It was a
So,
big deal.
so was landing in LA at 21, was it a rough landing or was it glamour from day one?
It was pretty great. It was pretty great. I connected to my friends I did theater with in Chicago, like the dinner theater. Anyway, it was great. It was pretty great right away, although it was a rude awakening. I remember like I met Allison Jones like right on my
Yes.
5 days
Big
when I
casting
was
director.
when I was like gonna maybe see if I'm ready for LA, and the feedback was she's green, but she will work. And I was like, I am not green. I have done 43 theater shows. I've done dinner theater. Like how arrogant, but you're 21, so your
You don't know.
ignorance is
Yeah.
bliss and you are arrogant.
But
Yeah.
also to have her say she will work. I mean, that's freaking
I mean, thank
great.
God. I like mad respect.
And you
Yes.
did. I've done some research on you. So you did have this group of friends
Mhm.
from Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and that must have given you a nice kind of support.
Were you like
system.
roommates with one of the? What did you do when you got here?
I lost Miss Illinois. I was first runner up, so I moved out. Before I moved out, I did a showcase thing, and like a representative from Aaron Spelling's company is like, come on out. And I didn't know if he wanted to have sex with me or he
Sure.
wanted to
Yeah.
You
actually
just
help
didn't
me.
know.
So I
Right.
brought my dad.
Ah.
And we stayed in West Hollywood for 5
Oh.
days. And that was during that 5 days, the Allison Jones thing. And so, yeah, but then slowly the friends all came out. And we didn't live together, but we were always connected. So I was always
Right.
safe with representation and then safe with like a set of like a group of gay men,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the best people in the world.
And
Yeah.
then you were auditioning pretty quickly.
I was because I have the same agents I have now. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that doesn't usually happen.
No. Sandy Bressler, R.I.P. He just passed away. He was like 87.
One of the best.
And John Kelly. And so they were like
Wow.
surrogate dads.
And what's the
Wow.
agency?
Bressler, Kelly and Associates. Really small boutique agency, but it's the
But
same
Bressler's
agency.
one of the best agencies.
One of the
I mean,
best.
Jack Nicholson's
Well,
only
you guys
agent.
gotta
Wow.
maybe she can put in a word for you two to get some representation.
I know enough to not.
You don't
even-
think they'll take you?
I'm learning.
Yeah, you're learning to not be so desperate.
Well, first we get told we're too desperate.
Oh.
Then
They
we
are
get
so
too
desperate.
depressed when things don't work out. So I need to figure out how to just survive. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
we're
you
trying to
don't-
learn from you and learn some tips and tricks. You know, you seem to have a certain amount of confidence when you came.
Yeah.
when I came at 21.
And even
Yeah.
now, you seem you're a confident person.
I would
No?
say I was more confident at 21 than I am at 51.
Well, that
Not
doesn't
that I'm
usually happen.
51. That's
No.
insane.
No,
I'm
then you
41.
will in 15 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, why do
yeah.
you think that is?
Because ignorance really is bliss.
Yes.
And now you know about lists and you know what lists you're not on. And I know that I'm casting directors' jobs to know me in TV, but film people have no idea that I've ever done anything. And so it's ignorance is bliss. 300 episodes of TV later, you
Yeah.
know where you're at in the scheme of things and where you're not.
Yeah.
And I'm very realistic about where I am.
It's the thing you always say
What?
at 21 that the Lulu is a Salulu.
The Delulu is a Salulu we've
Oh
been
my
hearing.
God.
If you're delusional, you're happy.
It's actually true.
Yeah.
But and then it works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start
Yeah.
trying it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just assume it's all so many great things are coming. And
Yeah.
even if you're delusional, maybe it's an easier way to live.
And
Exactly.
so you auditioned for, I don't know what was on TV, Melrose Place. You don't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Something else will come along. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Were you ever on Melrose Place?
I did the spin-off or whatever, the
Oh,
second coming,
yeah.
not the original. I did the original 90210, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't do the Melrose, but I watched them.
Now, as one multi-ethnic woman to another,
Okay.
where's your background? Because it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Italian, Spanish, and Irish.
Ooh,
So
God,
it's
I love
all
that.
the angry.
No, but what I love is they
Passionate.
mix this sort of southern states, not states, but countries,
Countries.
places
Mhm.
with the Ireland.
Yeah.
Because it's like cold
Yeah.
and warm.
Mm.
People bundled up and then people more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love a mix. You like a mix of stuff.
Yeah, real mix.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
It's-
I got a
it's-
lot of Irish.
Yeah, when you got too much of one thing, it's like a purebred dog, and they're gonna have issues.
Oh.
They are.
Yeah, they're gonna have issues.
Uh-oh.
So let's delve into what was your first really big
Yeah,
You
big
know,
part that you were like,
that you were like,
"Oh."
I can support myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
support myself. I
Yes.
quit waitressing
Oh.
in 1996.
Well, I
Where
wanna
did you
back up.
waitress?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I waitressed at, I got fired from Cafe Med when I went on tour with Kenny Rogers singing backup.
Holy
We
wait,
have
wait,
to
wait,
say
wait,
that.
wait,
Sorry,
wait,
they
wait,
said
wait,
I was going to
wait.
have a job, and they lied. And I will. We'll get there. And then, and then I left what was Thunder Roadhouse Cafe, which is now the Saddleback Ranch.
Saddleback Ranch.
In
Did you have to wear
96.
like little country
And-
western?
And that was last time I had to do something other than acting.
that was a
wow.
hot
That's
time
a
in
long
the-
time ago.
I didn't.
Oh, interesting.
No,
Wait, so you didn't go on tour with?
No,
I did
she
go on
did.
tour
You
with
did,
them.
but what were you saying? What
But
did
she didn't have to wear little crazy short Thunder,
I didn't have to
western.
wear like a westerny.
Oh,
Did you have
yeah.
to
I
ride
got
ride the bull?
confused.
I mean, I worked at Hooters for 2 weeks where I had to wear a little thing.
Yeah,
I
wow.
did not. They did not have a bull then.
Huh.
And
Okay.
it burnt down the first week I was on set with my first series, to answer your question.
Wow.
It was Hits with a C, UPN Network, Andrew Dice Clay. Nobody's ever seen it but my parents. And we used to joke, we're number one.
Oh.
06. Like, it was
Oh.
ridiculous.
But it made you a living. It made
Wait,
you
so
some
It bought me my
tour
first
with
house.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers.
You
Yeah.
gotta
Yes.
know when to hold 'em.
When
to hold 'em.
Know when to fold 'em.
When Kenny was changing, it was Christmas time. Me and like 5 people, all from the same theater group in Chicago that I knew before, I did Santa Baby. We were dressed as elves.
Well, now, what do you mean when he was changing?
Like changing in between, like
Vests.
They would
I don't
they
know.
would
That's a
sing
good
stuff when
question.
he was changing
That's a
his
good
outfit.
question. That is a very good
Thank-
question.
no,
And
thank
then
you.
at the
What was he
end, he was
changing
singing
into?
and we were singing
Okay.
with him or whatever.
Okay.
But
Maybe he just
there was a
needed a break.
time we were like, let's abandon these elf ears. This is beneath us. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But we thought we were loaded on tour. Got per diem for the first time.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Wait,
Yeah.
where? And it just went all around the country?
It was mostly the East, but yeah, like Poughkeepsie. Like I remember weird names of
Oh.
places.
Little towns,
Yeah,
little-
the
little
Mall of
cities.
America.
Oh, Mall of
I
America,
mean, he
that's a
wasn't-
big deal.
He wasn't in the Mall of America, but
Sure.
I remember that's like what we did on our day.
Can we just real quick once more because I want to hear the backup? Do gotta know when to hold 'em.
When to hold on.
Know
Know
when
when
to
to
fold
fold 'em.
'em. Know when to walk away.
There's no backup there.
Know when to run. You better count your money. When you're sitting
At the table, there'll be time enough for
Oh
counting.
my God.
When the
when the
dealing's
dealing's done. Are we allowed to have that on?
No,
Finest.
not unless you pay thousands of
Oh.
dollars.
He's one of the finest recording
If we're
artists that ever lived.
parodying, we
So
can't
funny.
we can't on YouTube, but we can on the podcast.
There's nothing.
Which, because
Well-
it doesn't sound, I don't think we did a great job of it.
No,
So
I
I
don't
think
think
maybe
they'll
nobody will
recognize it.
notice.
No, they won't.
I could
recognize
sound
it.
your voice enough. I could
Do it.
hear it in
That
there.
was
It's
beautiful.
pretty
Yeah.
damn great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Did he sing
Wow.
also my favorite song, "Looking for Love and All the
That was
him?
Kenny Loggins. I
Kenny
think.
Loggins.
think.
Kenny
Yeah.
Loggins.
Now, why did you only work at Hooters for 2 weeks?
I was fired for being a terrible waitress in Chicago,
Oh.
which is very embarrassing if you think about it.
Ah,
It's like
that's
being
okay.
it's like being fired for being like a terrible stripper.
No, I think that was a gift.
it was
actually.
a gift. It was a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Wow.
You know who loves Hooters? I'm just thinking of her, Fortune Feimster.
Of
Huge,
course she
do you know who
does.
Fortune Feimster
Of
is?
course I do.
Huge
Yeah.
Hooters fan.
Yeah,
She's-
Yeah.
She often posts about it. She likes their wings, I think.
The wings are famous.
Just the
Yep.
wings. Just the wings.
Yeah, nothing to do
Yeah.
with any of those ladies walking
Yeah,
around, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're out here,
You're booking.
you're booking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like a year in, maybe I got like a few episode arc on Bold and the Beautiful. I got a pilot the next year that didn't get picked up, and then I got the one that did get picked up for a season with the back 9, and then around episode 17, even though we were contracted to do 22, they're like, you can stop. How about you just don't?
What
do
show
it
was
anymore.
this?
This was the hits with
Okay.
it was
Yeah. Who
ridiculous.
cares? It's a lot of episodes.
That's
I
a lot of
was
episodes.
I was psyched.
Yeah.
Bought a house in the valley for
Yeah.
$187,000.
Holy moly.
187, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, pool.
Are you still in that
jacuzzi.
house or you moved
No.
on? No.
But like, it's just funny to tell people you bought a house for under 200
it's
grand.
wild,
Shocking.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Now that same house is probably 1.3 million.
Probably.
At
Maybe
least.
even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
3
least.
bedrooms.
That's shocking.
Pool in the valley?
Yeah, no.
Come on.
It's crazy.
No.
That's some good
The
stuff.
difference.
Oh my god.
So,
So-
now, all right. So then,
That puts you in a different bracket, right? Though, who cares? No one watched the show.
But
You're
with-
a regular
but
person
with
on the
casting
show.
directors, they know, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a person who can handle themselves as a series regular. And I think that matters to people because they don't want to send anyone in there that's going to be weird. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's true. That's true.
So then do your auditions start to change around that time where like now you're maybe bigger things, or is it kind of has it been the same?
Yeah, and you know what? I was always sort of doing sitcom stuff until, so that was like 96, 97. And then at 2000 is when I didn't get something I was pinned for or went to network for. And so I had a little bit of a tantrum.
Yeah.
About like a sob, like a pity party,
Yeah.
like, and they're like, well, there's still this audition for Strong Medicine on the table. I'm like, I don't. If you can even tell me what channel that's on, I'm like being an asshole. And I didn't think I was going to get the job. I was 27. Who's going to believe me as a doctor at 27? Like it just seemed
That is
preposterous.
Hollywood. Like a
I know.
Okay.
So I didn't think, but but that worked out.
But you know why? Because of your confidence, I would go like, okay, yeah, that person can tell me I have cancer. I'm gonna believe him.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
just something about you. I'm like, whatever you say is probably true.
Mhm.
That, and I bet you still you had that. If you're not confident now, then I can't even imagine at 27.
Yeah, no,
the
I-
vibe you
I-
bring in to the table
I love that you think I'm confident. It's
because it feels it.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Good.
No, so I did that, and then I did that for 132 episodes.
That's
Wow.
unbelievable.
It went.
Did you learn things about medical stuff for reals?
Oh yeah, 100%.
wow.
And my friends will joke that
Come
I
to
think
you.
I could. You know, like when you're on a
Diagnose.
plane and they're like, "Is there anybody on board?" And people
Ah.
next to me are like, "You're not. You don't qualify.
You can't raise your hand.
You can't really deliver a baby. You can't really." But yeah,
But did you have to go and shadow actual doctors to learn some skills?
they always have an on-set medic teaching you how to use
Oh.
the equipment properly because there's so many people in the medical field that
And
would
that's
tell
how you
you.
know
That's
And
how
that's
I
how
know.
you know.
That's why I know her because I was an on-set medic.
Paula.
Oh.
No way.
Yeah.
Not on Strong Medicine.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
We worked together on Strong Medicine?
Yes.
Oh my God. I thought oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's how you
Amazing.
recognize me. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
What did you
amazing.
teach her to use?
The equipment,
What piece?
MRIs mostly. I'm an MRI guy.
How do you do it?
Hmm?
How do you do it?
Press the button. Go into the machine. Stay still.
I'm sorry. Did you say you're an MRI guy?
Yeah. I don't do gender. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't. Call everybody what you want to call them. And yeah, but that's why. So I was able to call her manager or your agent, and I said, she owes me one because I would always give her side tips to make her look better than all the other people on
Yeah.
the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew one day I'd come back around and they'd have to pay me back, and here she is.
Here it is.
At our podcast.
Wow. Thank you.
Hey, anytime.
She was a real standout on that show.
Yeah.
So,
So thank you.
you know.
Here's what I want to say because I think I don't want to gloss over it. you mentioned pity party.
Yeah.
When you didn't get that. And we talk about that a lot because these two, they don't do well with rejection. They really have a hard time with it. And is that still something that's hard for you today? Or, do you find you've kind of built up,
yes. It's
still hard.
easier. It got easier when I had a baby 18 years ago. It got easier once I started a different career almost 10 years ago. Because then acting became less important. Before that, it's been this many days since an audition and this and like
it was too much.
It was it was
becomes your identity.
It was my identity, and I was only as happy as I was how I was in my career.
Right.
I mean,
it was too connected to who you were.
So it's like yes, there's what is it? Is it Schadenfreude? Whatever.
Yeah, Schadenfreude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and like I
Schadenfreude.
kind of went to network on something and I didn't get it, but then it didn't get picked up, and I'm like, well.
But
maybe,
that's
what
maybe
you
you need
get.
to cast me.
That's what you get.
But I mean, but it's not like it. What I'm not in bed crying for 3 days.
Good.
Yeah.
But don't think that there hasn't been numerous. Like when people are like, "How do I get my kid into acting?" I'm like, "You don't if you like them." It's It is a self-esteem abuse. It's mostly bad with pops of highs,
Right.
but mostly bad.
You know who we had on who said, Gary Anthony Williams, I don't know if you're familiar with Gary Anthony Williams, he said he gives himself 1 hour.
Good.
1 hour to be pissed off, sad, mad, and then moves on. And I thought, that's
very
pretty,
healthy.
That's
And
really
I think
amazing.
what I said to him, which I'm feeling again, just roiling up in me, is I'm still mad about things that happened 25 years ago.
They still stick.
Yeah.
Well, and this might lead
It's hard to
into
let it go.
I want to talk about, you mentioned you had a second profession.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm so fascinated. Is it because the acting just wasn't doing it for you as much anymore?
No, that's not it at all. I was 43 when I was on towards the tail end of the Thundermans,
Which we have to talk about a little
Yeah,
bit.
we have to talk about
Okay,
that
we
too.
can
But
circle
yeah,
back.
I want to.
anyway, and I started to see what was happening with very close friends who hadn't worked in years, who had just as much experience as me. One of those people was Lisa Ann Walter before she got Abbott. There was like 7 years she didn't work. And Frances Fisher and Kristen DeTillo. And I mean, I can name so many people who are unbelievable, who just kind of turned a certain age and stopped working. And Allison Janney can only do so many birds. And so it is what it is. There was a time when Kristen DeTillo is my best friend, an actress. When we met on Hits, she had went to network 13 times. I went like 11 that year. Like now they're not doing that.
No,
Right.
the whole industry is
It's totally
all
different.
different anyway.
And it's
Yeah.
different at
Changed.
my age than it is when you're 27.
Yeah.
It just is. So I started to notice that and I said, oh my God, I've never even considered what's my 50 to 75 year plan. Like I had no idea what I was going to do because I'd only done this. And I was like, the only thing I could think of doing that I wouldn't like kill myself would be, which is a terrible analogy if I'm talking about being a therapist,
Or a good one.
is to do this because you keep people's secrets for a living. It's interesting. It changes every hour, and I'm never going to be at a desk job.
And you're an actress, so you're a good listener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
And wow. So you go back to school for this?
I had to finish my undergrad because I was a 23-year hiatus from that, and then go right into the master's, and then the 3,000 hours and the 2 state exams.
That's so
Yes,
much
a
work.
lot. It is a lot of work. They don't just like it's not like the learning annex. You can't just
We
could all decide to be life coaches right now,
Yeah.
and there's no union or managers, but
Right.
but there are steps to being an LMFT.
So where do you do? Do you have a practice at home, or what do you?
I have a private practice in Hermosa Beach. I have an office I rent, and then I'm the clinical director of a 12-bed detox and rehab because they specialize in addiction and recovery.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's so weird.
So impressive.
It's
So
just
do
weird.
I mean,
Impressive.
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's really
It's
a lot. And you're also on a very popular TV series.
So the series is now doing a spinoff, and I just got back from Vancouver. And yes, last week I was filming the spinoff, but I'm not in every episode of the spinoff. I will be a recurring guest star on the spinoff, and I will not be on the 26 episodes.
Okay.
But so that's the Thundermans, and I hope that continues to live.
But
and
the
there's
first incarnation of Thundermans was like how many episodes?
103.
103.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we did 103, and then 2017 to 2023, it was nothing. And then we did that movie in 2023, TV movie, not like.
So what is that like? Because you go from doing shows like Strong Medicine, where it's all, this is all the grown-up show.
Yeah.
To the Thundermans, is it more fun? Is it more freeing? Is it just very different?
Live for multicam.
Yeah.
I'm so sad about that it's more rare now.
Mm-hmm.
I love working the kid hours, but mostly like it's the closest thing to doing a play.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect.
It's the best. It's the absolute best. When I was on Strong Medicine, I was working 70-hour weeks. I didn't have a kid yet, but if I did, the kid would get taken from me by like DCFS.
You wouldn't have been, because you wouldn't have been able.
Wouldn't have been a part.
You
of
would have
their
been like
life.
my parents, who just kind of left, made me do my own thing.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
your parents went to be on a
My
television
dad might
show.
have. Like I said, I
Yeah.
know where my mom is, but I
Okay.
don't. My dad might have been. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
he
maybe.
might have been on a
I don't think they're
procedural.
together anymore, so there's no way to know. Anyways,
I mean, wow, there's so many thoughts percolating.
Yeah.
I guess one is obviously you can't, you keep people's secrets, you can't divulge. But on a general level, what is a couple tips and tricks just for marriage? Keeping it.
Oh, for marriage. I thought you were going to say something else. I think for marriage, it's really learning how the other person feels safe and how and safe really and seen and heard and how to communicate, because how I communicate might be from how I was raised, which might be a totally different style.
Yeah.
And it's oil and water, and we're not even having the same conversation or hearing the same thing, mostly because people rely on mind reading. Well, he should know because we've fought about that.
Yeah.
He should know we've been together. Yeah. No.
So,
You gotta ask
so
for
what's
what you
the
need.
answer? Does one person have to learn to communicate like the other one, or do they need to develop their whole new way of communicating?
You really have to understand, hey, do you hear what he or she is saying right now? She's, when you did this, this is what she heard, even though I know you didn't say that. So learning just how, if that makes any sense, learning how to communicate, because if you think about any relationship you've had, whether it's a friendship or romantic, it's the same fights over and over with different minutia.
Totally.
So it's like, this is about, so if I'm giving something a 10 and it's actually worth a 3, it's because this is maybe something that triggered me from feeling disrespected in childhood, or did it a wound uncovered, and he's
If
like,
it's hysterical, it's historical.
Exactly.
is
That's
what
a
they
good
say.
one.
It's Michael Bernard Bedford.
That's
from
really good.
Agape.
That's oh yeah,
But
that's very good.
so what do you do in a situation? So Lana has a primary partner,
yeah,
and then 2 lovers.
yeah. They're both in Simi Valley.
And
the
you're saying
lovers.
recently you're having a tough time. I don't know. You didn't get into in one of our recent episodes. You mentioned having a tough time. What's going on there? Because maybe you can get some. Because first of all, does that work long term? Does
What?
3 partners work long term in your opinion?
Listen, I personally don't know. I think you have to have no jealousy and transparent communications and established and respected rules. And if everybody feels safe and respected, I know it can work. I personally
Sure.
don't know how.
How much, before I answer that, of what you offer your patients, clients, is just innate, something that you've always known because you're an intelligent person, versus like, I
The
learned
book.
this in chapter 5
Yeah.
of my schooling.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. I think a lot of it is intuition and just gut.
Yeah.
And it's also just seeing it through trial and error and life experience. I'm not a 22-year-old fresh out of school.
That's why you're good at it.
That's the
Yeah.
big difference. I've had a divorce. I've been on this earth a minute or 2. So it's like for the same reasons that anybody of a certain age could give advice to somebody younger and be like, I wish I knew then what I know now. Trust me. Everybody has feelings of inadequacy. Everybody has, whatever. You're not special.
I feel like we want you to be the multiple talking women,
Therapist.
in-house
official.
therapist.
We maybe
Officially
could
in-house.
use it because it's hard to communicate with these 2 because their feelings get hurt. And I want to just say, I want to tell it like it is. I want to be able to say, hey, that's a bad outfit, for example.
Well,
And I want you to listen to it and do something about it,
But
for example.
what I would say, what she would hopefully say would be, when you speak that way, it comes across as aggressive.
It is.
Well,
I don't like the outfit. I'm the producer. I should be able to have some say.
I think people tune in for exactly this outfit.
And also,
I usually don't
all
come
right.
to your rescue.
I also want to say, I think you need to stop wearing blazers because it's my thing. And all of a sudden you're wearing blazers. And it feels very much like you're intruding on what I bring, which is a sense of being in charge.
I believe in modest clothing. And there's only so many things I can wear to cover my arms.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to have a session
Yeah.
with Dr. Blasi.
All right. Do you have any-
Dr. Blasi, my husband is a peeping Thomas.
Oh.
And he
And a
is
gerontophile for
creeping around
elders.
our neighborhood and peeping in windows. And I will see him out there peeking. And then he comes in, leaves everywhere.
And he says he hasn't done anything.
I said, what were you doing? Nothing. And I said, well, I just saw you peeking in Miss Cheswick when she was changing out of her house dress. And he said, no, I wasn't.
Gaslighting. That's called
Is that
gaslighting.
That's
gaslight?
right. That is where you lie to someone's face to make them feel crazy. That never happened. I didn't say that. You didn't see that.
Does that happen with some of your sessions sometimes?
Of course.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Well, how does it make you feel when he lies to your face?
Like I want to scream in a cookie jar.
Yes.
Right. Because you don't let your emotions out in front of
No,
him.
I can't.
So a good tip for any sort of couples or just decreasing conflict is I statements versus you statements. So saying, when I feel small, I feel insignificant, because we've had this conversation a few times. I feel impactless when I know for a fact something happened and I'm lied to by my face. So all that time I just did that, I was I, rather than you did this. Also, you're creepy.
Oh.
You are pissing me off.
Oh.
You need to go to jail.
Right. Right.
Which
and
he has been
he
to
also would
jail.
not respond to that because the way that you, it feels very like I'm in charge of you, and he isn't actually in charge of me.
He is?
He is.
Oh.
Well, they're very religious. So.
Yeah.
So it's thou shalt fear thy husband.
He's my father.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know about this.
So
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
then good
well,
luck.
if you can speak in I statements, you'll get a lot further. When I tell people, when you use somebody, unless you would say F you, don't start a sentence or use you, because it's you're going to either shut down or get defensive, probably defensive.
okay.
You
Great.
really just summed up so much.
So much.
Because there's probably people that think they're at the end of their relationship and then they realize this. Because for me, I have one primary and then these guys in Simi Valley, and if any of them say something mean to me, I get so sad. And instead of being sad is vulnerable. Instead, I get angry on the outside and say, fuck you. And whatever.
Yeah,
know what
and
I
you
mean?
tear them down. You
Tear
tear
them
them
down.
down. Like
Then
their
they
looks and
feel
stuff.
bad. Then they feel, and really where I could have solved the whole thing by saying that really hurt my feelings.
That's right. Because anger is
Ugh.
what? Anger, what is anger
It's
really?
fear.
It's a fear.
Okay.
That's right.
Wow.
Protective. Or
It's
you
anger is
feel like you're
acceptable.
strong.
Being vulnerable and fearful is less acceptable. So people rely on
It's safer to
anger.
be angry.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
Wow. That is tricky.
I can't believe it, but it's time. Yeah,
I
we gotta
I
get.
can't believe this.
Well, it happens fast. We gotta get around to wrapping up. Can we? Here's a question. What advice would you give to like someone like you coming out here 21 years old? What advice do you give to somebody, and also specifically around the fact that you're going to get told you're not going to get the thing. You're going to have a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for?
No rejection.
A lot of rejection.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say do as much as you can. Exhaust the possibilities in the city you're from first. Then let's say maybe the city you're from is Los Angeles. Building a reel any way you can, non-union, Backstage West, student films, doing something to have something in your hand you could literally show somebody, this is what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
If you're here in LA, I would say Groundlings. If you're in Chicago or New York or anywhere else, I would say Second City, because you use improv the most.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even in scripted things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't understand why people spend so much time and money going to these classes where they're like, they're going to rehearse the scene for a week and then meet with their scene partner
That's true.
and then do it and get notes and then do it. That is not realistic. What's realistic is we just changed that line, or these are the new sides, or we're going to try this, or you know what? This is back when you would be in a room. You're really more right for this role, not this one.
Yeah, we're going to give you
leave
10 minutes to look
in?
at it. Yeah.
But now there's none of that stuff.
That is so true.
So anyway, I think there's like a lot of things people do that's a waste of time. But yeah, if you want to act. But I know so many people that are like, well, I'm an actor, so I can't wait tables or I can't do some job that they deem beneath them. And it's like, no, you can. Because I was on a show and I was
And you still have to make some money.
being a therapist. Like, you can. It's an excuse.
It's not, you don't
Time
have to
management.
define yourself like, oh, if I do something else, I'm not this thing also.
But also, like, be the best version of yourself. It's not like, oh, I'll be happy when I get the show, or I'll be when
That's the
I
biggest,
get
probably the
the
biggest
six pack, or when I whatever. It's like you kind of have to figure
Yeah,
out
but
how to be
when
happy
I get
now.
all the free creams and skincare, so I know I'm gonna be fulfilled.
For the day, maybe even a week,
yeah.
but probably not a month, 6 months, a year.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, guys.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
It's a dopamine dump on the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you're down after because of that.
Yeah, because there's no creams is ever too many is until never enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you receive a lot of free creams?
You know, you do get free creams and special creams.
If you
and
get
lotion.
too much cream, will you throw a couple of your way,
Yes, you
please?
do
If you
get
extra cream.
thrown some stuff at those gifting
Different
suites.
events,
Or
yeah.
They
Well,
send
that's
you
what we wanted
boxes.
to hear.
Yeah.
We're going to stick with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick
That's
with
all we needed. to
All we
keep us
needed.
going.
You're knee deep in emollients.
Yeah, and emollients and be like you.
I think we got to give it up for
Rosa
BLASI.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Keep learning more.
And thank you, God,
Yeah.
for not having reality TV when I got off that bus, because I mean, it was a plane.
The
But
comparing.
Yeah.
Compare and despair.
no,
Just compare and
because
despair.
I would have been
You
the
would've done it.
dumbass
Oh,
making out on
that's right.
TV
That's
with
right.
like some
Right.
idiot
You would have been on The
to get to
Bachelorette.
be on TV.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally would have been
Bachelor.
on The
Yeah.
Bachelorette.
Yeah.
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 Like in a heartbeat if it meant TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you were saved from that.
Yeah.
All right, let's give it up for Rosa BLASI. Multiple Talking Women is produced and hosted by Ariane Price, Lauren Burns, and Lisa Shurga. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on all podcast platforms, and become a member of our Patreon. All right, am I done?